What a beautiful day to be a Stranger Things fan. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another Stranger Things Season 5 video. Today, we've got news from the Stranger Things socials themselves, and not just news, actual new footage from Season 5. Now, this is not the official trailer we've all been waiting for, but it is new footage. Think of it as an extension of the behind-the-scenes teaser trailer we got last July in 2024. This video is called Stranger Things 5: One Last Adventure, and it features lots of voiceover from the cast talking about the final season. It's done documentary style, which excites me for the inevitable final season documentary, hopefully the making of Stranger Things Season 5. And it also features lots of new footage from this season with polished shots and behind-the-scenes shots. So while it's still not the official trailer, and I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, it is still a good sign that, hey, marketing is ramping up and that we're headed in the right direction, especially as we approach October for potentially that official trailer to drop within the next week or so. In many ways, this kind of feels like a welcome to the Season 5 era video, and I'm here for it. But as always, I'm going to break this thing down, give you my 2 cents on everything, and let you know where things could be headed in Season 5, in my opinion. But before I get into this, hit that like button, comment down below your predictions, your theories based on all of this footage, these new shots. What do you make of it all? And of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. I mean, quite a bit. And if you want extra Stranger Things content, Patreon is the place to be. I have a deep dive into every episode of Stranger Things over there. We're getting into Season 3 right now. We're deep diving into every episode leading up to Season 5, giving you our theories, predictions, analyzing how things could tie into the final season. We're having lots of fun with it, so feel free to join the Patreon community today. And one final thing, if you want Stranger Things merch, I gotta shout out Firefly Shop. I'm representing right now with the Hawkins Police Department crew neck, but they have lots of awesome stuff over there, including crew necks, t-shirts, you name it. If you want some really high quality Stranger Things merchandise, go get yours at Firefly Shop. And if you use code FILMSTOCKED10, you can get yourself a discount. So go check that out and get some comfortable, good looking Stranger Things merch for Season 5. You'll want to represent Hawkins. But in the good old fashion of the Ross Duffer photo dump breakdowns, I'm going to go ahead and get down to business.
Let's get down to business.
So the One Last Adventure video opens with shots from both Season 1 and Season 2 as we see the Duffer brothers voicing over saying there's something magical about childhood. We wanted to do what we could to capture that feeling. They go on to say that ultimately this is the heart of the Stranger Things story, and the way the Duffers are set up here along with other cast members who were interviewed really make it feel like this is a documentary. If you pair that with some of the footage we get from the behind the scenes teaser in July of 2024, it seems like we are for sure getting a behind the scenes doc for all of Season 5, and hell, maybe they've surprised us and they've done behind the scenes on every season. They can put together one major documentary about the making of Stranger Things. 10 years in the making, that'd be sick. Then we see David Harbour, who's also set up in what looks like a documentary, and he's sharing how when he read the pilot, he thought it was one of the best pilots he'd ever read, and he said it felt so pure and just beautiful. Noah Schnapp then states, we were a bunch of random kids from different places that just loved our characters, we loved the story. Charlie Heaton, who plays Jonathan, then chimed in to say, we've been doing it for such a long time, we've grown up as a family. And here we actually get to see the behind the scenes of them taking the iconic picture of all the cast together. This is from back in January of 2024 when it was announced that production on Season 5 had officially begun. I feel like that's just capturing a special moment in time with all those people in that room in that exact moment in time. Winona Ryder, Joyce Byers herself, then chimes in to say that I got to watch these kids grow up, which was the biggest gift this show has given me. Our king, Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin, says, as exciting and grand as we always seem to get, like season by season, it still feels like the same group of nerds from the first season. And here we actually get a quick little glimpse of Gaten and Caleb in costume dancing on the set of Season 5, just being goofballs. And all throughout this entire thing, we're getting montage of footage from seasons past, and here we actually get a quick insert of Will yelling fireball. And I'm not trying to read too much into it, but maybe they're foreshadowing something here because they show Eddie next when he's playing D&D, so the editors of this might have had a fun time clowning us all, who knows. Then we get a shot of a door out in a field, and this looks like it's not too far off from where the WSQK radio station set is, because if you look at the background, it kind of matches up with these shots from Ross Duffer's Instagram posts of the Duffer brothers out in a field, along with this shot of Lucas in what seems to be the same area. So could we potentially get a behind the scenes of the WSQK being being put together, like the construction of sets, because I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and if they give us that for season 5, we'll be fed. Sean Levy, the man himself, longtime producer and director of Stranger Things episodes, chimes in to say, it's part of the magic of the show. Even as we evolve, even as the storytelling becomes more epic, it's always anchored in these characters that we love. Now here's where we start to get even more shots from season 5, where we can actually dissect what's to come. Shots include the stained glass window of the Creel house, the inside of Hawkins' lab, covered in vines, looking like the Upside Down might be bleeding out of it, or we're in the Upside Down in Hawkins' lab. Probably both, honestly. And we see Sean Levy crossing off some shots from the new season, seemingly as they're successfully shot. The next snippet tees up a badass moment in this season. We've known for a while now that Steve, Dustin, Jonathan, and Nancy are going to be a character grouping at some point this season, and we see them in Steve's car in the official teaser trailer from back in July. And of course, in behind-the-scenes pictures, we see all these characters together as well. We also see in the teaser Steve's car driving through what appears to be tunnels just like those from season 2, but even more activated, if that makes sense, like even further in the depths of the Upside Down they're driving around. Well, in this video, we see the Duffers watching on a monitor, and they yell out,
And you explode through!
we even hear Joe Keery yell out a little Han Solo-esque woo. And to me, that moment of them driving around in the tunnels could be all-time stuff, especially if the soundtrack matches the energy. Like, if they pick the perfect 80s song to complement this scene, it could be one that I'm watching on YouTube for years to come, just when I get the itch for Stranger Things. Like, you know what? I'm gonna toss this scene on. We then get a new shot of Erica in school, and she's actually being directed by the legend himself, Frank Darabont. Now, we know he's directing episode 3, The Turnbow Trap, so this could very well be a shot from that episode, and like I've mentioned in the past, this could also be the inside of Mr. Clark's classroom, because if you take a look at this official still of Erica that dropped a few months ago where she's in a classroom, the background of the room kind of lines up with Mr. Clark's class. So if he returns, that would be glorious. I think this is one of the supporting characters who needs to have his time to shine in season 5, because hell, he was crucial in giving the gang information, telling them all about the flea and the acrobat, but he's also been on the outside of really knowing what's going on in Hawkins. So for him to finally be told, hey, this is what's been going on all along, I think it would be fitting for him as a character. He deserves that knowledge. This next shot intrigues me greatly. We see Lucas in what looks like the tunnels. Now, we know he's going to be down here based on shots from the teaser trailer, because we see him sitting back in terror in the tunnels, and we also see him from behind running with a couple other characters in the tunnels in that teaser trailer, while here, he's walking next to what appears to be Joyce. It's just not Winona Ryder portraying Joyce in this moment. It's likely a stunt double or a stand-in. That's for sure Joyce's outfit that we've seen in marketing, so it's her character, it's just not Winona in this moment when they film it. Worth noting, Lucas does have blood on his shirt here, just like with that shot in the teaser trailer, so something is for sure going down with him in the tunnels. And the big question I have about the whole tunnel situation is, are they dormant and then become activated? Because we see Steve driving in what looks like some activated tunnels that are very much a part of the Upside Down, but there's a shot in the teaser of Lucas in what looks like the tunnels from season 2, and then here it almost looks like the tunnels have nothing going for them, like they're just completely dormant, not activated, so I'm curious to see how they handle that. The next shot is a behind-the-scenes look at the still that released back in July of Mike, Lucas, Nancy, Steve, Jonathan, and Dustin, where Steve is holding a chainsaw. And there's a lot to break down here, so get ready. For starters, they're all looking down through some sort of hole in the floor, and it's hard to say exactly where they are, you would think. But this shot is shown later in the footage, and we actually see Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan in the Upside Down, outside of what I believe to possibly be this building they're in with the big hole. The white exterior of that building in the Upside Down lines up with the church set, and we know they filmed at a church set that had tendrils on it based on paparazzi photos. And you also have to think, if these characters are all looking down, that they could for sure be looking at a gate. Then some of the characters like Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan could go through said gate and end up in the Upside Down outside of this church. You also have to ask, why else would Steve be holding a chainsaw if not to cut a big hole in the floor? The outfits Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan are wearing match up with the outfits we see them wearing in the group shot, and Dustin's wounds are there in both shots as well. So to me, it's all starting to line up. It's also interesting how there's a blue screen behind the actors here, yet in the official still that was released, it's just a normal ceiling. That shows the power of VFX, let me tell you.
Let me tell you something.
The next shot is of the inside of a locker, and there's graffiti that says Hellfire Lives, and if you're thinking, this looks familiar, it's because it does. We've seen this before way back when as a part of one of Ross Duffer's Instagram photo dumps back in January of 2024, and again, this is likely Dustin's locker in my opinion, we'll see though. With this one last adventure video, as it progresses, we get more and more footage of seasons past, and even some recycled season 5 teaser trailer footage, but a voiceover by Keery then begins. He says whether they're a popular dude or some band nerd, a parent, a teacher, a Russian scientist, everybody sort of feels like they're kind of an outcast, and I think this show is about bringing people like that together. And I couldn't agree more, well said. Brett Gelman, who plays Murray the bald eagle Bauman, then says it's that classic tale of good and evil, and the good guys are so good and the bad guys are so bad. This is all while some recycled teaser footage is happening. Now we're really starting to ramp up to some new shots though. Murray is shown in the back of the truck. We know him and Robin are going to be going incognito into downtown Hawkins, hopefully to sneak someone in. We get a quick BTS shot of Mike and Elle hugging in the field outside of WSQK. More on Maleven later. The Duffers then chime in via voiceover saying this is the biggest season we've ever had in terms of action, VFX, and story, and I love to hear that. I mean, we all love this show. We knew how big it was going to be coming into this final season, and Finn Wolfhard has a quote later on that basically says, hey, the stakes are the highest they've ever been. We then get to see polished shots from season 5 of the Maleven rooftop scene. Now, for those out of the loop, this is a scene that was shot way back at the beginning of 2024. There were paparazzi photos of Finn Wolfhard and Millie Bobby Brown on the roof of the WSKK radio station set, and all over social media for some reason, people were running wild with the idea that this was a breakup scene. Well, that certainly doesn't seem to be the case at all. In my opinion, it much more plays out like a farewell for now scene where the two of them are having one small moment as a couple before having to go separate ways as a part of a greater mission. But even then, in the official teaser trailer, we get this shot of Mike and Elle sharing a moment before Elle gets in the bath at Hopper's cabin. So to me, they're really not going anywhere. It was always Maleven. They might just be having a sweet heart-to-heart on the roof talking about their time together, their journey in the events of the show thus far. The Duffers continue voicing over by saying, ultimately, what people want is they want to see these characters for one last time. And to that I say, one last time. Any Hamilton fans out there? Sorry if I hurt your ears, I'm not the best singer. Relax, have a drink with me. We then speed through some behind-the-scenes shots of Mike, Holly, and Will riding bikes, just like that polished shot in the teaser trailer. We get a behind-the-scenes shot of the OG party walking out behind the school to the bench, where we see them all put their hands in the middle. Worth noting, this is the same bench, likely, that Eddie meets up with Chrissy at in season 4 when he's dealing some drugs. Millie Bobby Brown herself, 11, then chimes in to say, it's more of an adventure, more of a mission, which I really like. Everybody's really put into the thick of it. No one is sitting back on a walkie-talkie. Everyone is full throttle going for it. And that's encouraging to hear, especially given the way the show has handled character groupings recently. Like, I'm looking at season 4 specifically, okay? Will, Jonathan, Mike, those characters were all pretty much sidelined in the California storyline and felt disconnected from everything. They were really important characters in season 1 and season 2, so to see them come back, have a more prominent role, just like some of these other characters, feels right, especially with it being the final season. So it seems like everyone's going to be working together on the same mission, that being to take down Vecna and eradicate the Upside Down. We then start to get even more new behind-the-scenes shots. One of them is 11 turning the corner near what could very well be the Turnbow Trap Realty sign that we see blow up in the teaser trailer. You can kind of tell it looks like a sign based on the edge and the coloring. We also get a shot of Mike riding his bike that matches with this official still of him and Lucas hauling ass on their bikes, and Elle is shown again in the old junkyard, which is of course an iconic location from past seasons of the show. And she's either fighting off a Demogorgon or having a full-on training montage, because if you'll remember in the teaser trailer, we see her like running and jumping over a bus here. So she might just be having a full-on Karate Kid, Rocky Balboa style training moment in the junkyard. A quick shot of one of the guns on top of a military truck exploding is then shown. Again, further showing that to me, there's gonna be absolute chaos when Vecna pulls up. And then we get one of those behind-the-scenes shots of the explosion by the Turnbow Trap Realty sign. Now, this is seemingly going to be caused by Hopper when he launches some grenades, just basing that off of the footage from the teaser here. It's hard to really put together the exact geography of the scene, but it seems like Hopper and Elle are behind this sign. They're getting shot at. Hopper then throws grenades over the back of his head to the front of the sign, and that's where the explosion occurs for those military guards. Cara Buono, who plays Karen Wheeler, then steps into voiceover saying, every episode is bigger than the last, and I love to hear that. You know what else I would love? I would love if they released the episode runtimes, because for Volume 1, it's done. There's really no reason to hold those back anymore. I don't know if they're saving that for maybe like Stranger Things Day, but they know the runtimes. Now it's time to feed us. We then get a shot of Joyce driving. We see Will there as well, so this could be the two characters and maybe some others fleeing that barn scene after the Demogorgon busts the door down, but who really knows where they are here? That's just my best bet right now. We get a super quick glimpse of Joyce's axe again. So good to see that thing back in action. And then Maya Hawke, who plays Robin, started a voiceover that got me pumped up. She says, this is a season about like fighting to the bone, you know, even when you don't know you're gonna win. I love that underdog mentality they're coming into with season 5 because Vecna is gonna be probably overpowered as hell in this season, and Demogorgons are going to be running wild. The stakes are the highest they've ever been, but hey, they still got that fight in them, and I've always loved Stranger Things because the characters might be out-physicaled, but they will not be outsmarted. We get a new behind-the-scenes shot of Nancy and Jonathan. Jancy Nation rise up. And Nancy's, of course, wielding a shotgun, but I have to ask, where the hell are they? There's like a full-on bar behind them, so I can imagine this is not in the church setting. So maybe it's like that mansion house that we've seen some behind-the-scenes pictures of via paparazzi. We haven't seen a lot from there, but it could be that location. If you pay attention to the interior design of this room, it's cohesive with the aesthetic of the shot of Steve with the chainsaw, so perhaps there's a gate in this mansion or house, and then some characters go through it and end up outside of the church in the Upside Down. They leave this mansion house, go over to the church in the Upside Down. Just a running theory, who knows. More behind the scenes of the military firing shots are shown, along with Vecna walking, but this is pre-Vecna redesign. So to me, these are either going to be flashbacks of Vecna to his time with Will in the Upside Down during the events of season 1, or potentially characters like Nancy or even Holly are having visions of Vecna, but they only know what he looks like in season 4, so they're seeing him this way. They haven't seen his new redesign yet, if that makes sense, so they can't envision him that way. We continue to get more behind the scenes shots as we see Lucas visiting Max in the hospital, but it's worth noting he has a slightly different outfit on here than what we've seen in the official teaser trailer when he's next to Max. A, he could have just taken his jacket off, or B, we're gonna see him visiting Max multiple times, which would be even more devastating, especially if we get a montage of him going and visiting, much like in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when we see Peter Parker at Gwen Stacy's grave. As the seasons change, it just ripped your heart out. And Jopper Nation, rise! We see a new shot of them. Looks like they're outside WSQK if I had to guess, and they're probably saying goodbye for the time being as they're going their separate ways for a mission. We know Joyce is going to be off with the rest of the gang, while Hopper and Eleven seem to be going solo into the Upside Down on their own little quest, so they might not be together for most of the season, but they'll reunite, I hope. Another angle of all the characters inside WSQK is shown. This matches up with the shot we see in the behind-the-scenes teaser, where they're all gathered around what looks like some sort of projector, outlining and planning the mission for the season. We get more of Murray and Robin and Bradley's Big Buy truck. I won't be surprised if this truck ends up flipping because the Demogorgon's coming after them. And I also have to say, I'm worried about Murray. We only really see him in his Bradley's Big Buy getup in this truck. He's very likely dead, and I don't want to admit that because I think Murray's a great comedic relief character who's severely underrated, but he is one of the characters who's probably killable.
You come to our house, you get my wife's name right!
We get a shot of Hopper and Eleven behind the scenes, or David Harbour and Millie with the Duffers, and to me this looks to be the same area where those flashing red lights are in both the To-Doom date announcement and the official teaser, so this could be inside the military base. We also get Frank Darabont further directing, and based on the outfits of the characters on screen, we can deduce that this is the same episode where Steve's holding the chainsaw, and this is going to be the Turnbow Trap most likely, because it has been confirmed Frank Darabont is directing that episode, so the Turnbow Trap excites me greatly. There's a quick behind the scenes shot back at the junkyard with Millie as 11, Joe Keery as Steve throwing up a peace sign in his car, some more exterior shots of the WSQK radio station and the squawk. But one of the most intriguing shots from this entire video seems to be outside Hawkins' lab. We see lots of characters approaching, and vines are all over the place on the exterior of Hawkins' lab, so I ask, is this the Upside Down, or is this the right side up? As we know at the end of season 4, the Upside Down was bleeding into Hawkins, so vines that made their way into the right side up could have gone dormant for a time being until being further reactivated. Let's take it one step further, get a little crazy here for a second, alright? Get a little wild. Not saying this is gonna happen, let's just have some fun. What if somehow the Mother Gate reopens? We know it was closed at the end of season 2 and it's been under Hawkins' lab. What if it reopens and from there these vines are spreading out and the Upside Down is almost leaking out where Hawkins' lab is the source, and so everyone's at Hawkins' lab because that place needs to be destroyed? Just a fun thought, but if you look at this shot, There's clearly green grass. I don't know if that really matters because this isn't really a polished shot. It looks more like a behind the scenes shot. But regardless, who is approaching the lab? The only characters I could potentially make out are maybe Robin and Vicky here, but also this could be Nancy and Jonathan. There's a shot of Jancy and Steve that was released when season 5 filming wrapped, and the dress this character is wearing kind of aligns with the one Nancy's wearing in this behind the scenes picture. The other characters are nearly impossible to make out. Is going down at Hawkins Lab this season. We get a quick glimpse of Caleb McLaughlin with his stunt double. We then see soldiers storming Hawkins Lab, Linda Hamilton's character being one of those. So like I said, something serious is happening at Hawkins Lab. We get a blink and you'll miss it shot of Elle sprinting somewhere, location to be determined. We really can't tell where she is. More military guys gunning. Holly is actually seen sprinting through the woods, so I wonder if she's running back to her house because something's going wrong there, or if this shot of her running through the woods is her fleeing her house. And maybe say the Demogorgon or Vecna got to Karen, and so Holly's running through the woods. We get a shot of Hopper in the Upside Down, and he stabs what looks like that wall in the Upside Down. My first thought was, is this man about to climb this wall Game of Thrones style? Like, that's sick. Or he's doing it to inflict damage on the hive mind. We're taking it one step further here and probably reading way too deep. If you go back and watch the season 1 finale when Joyce and Hopper are walking through the Upside Down, they pass what looks like a freaking egg from the movie Alien. What if Hopper is like cutting one of those out of the ground and trying to take it back so they can examine it? I don't know, just a random thought I had, but that would be nuts. Nearing the end of this one last adventure video, we got some real intense, polished shots. One of those is inside the barn. We see Erica and Robin running on the sides, but Will is actually on top of the character Derek Turnbow, and it looks like he's holding him back. My theory here is that Derek is a part of this trap because his last name is allegedly Turnbow. The episode is going to be called the Turnbow Trap, and so that character is being used to lure either the Demogorgons or Vecna to their location for some specific reason, maybe to get them away from where the other part of the mission is taking place in Hawkins, so this is a diversion. And maybe Derek starts to chicken out, so Will has to like hold him down potentially. I don't know if that's the case at all though. It could also be, hey, Will has been repossessed by the shadow form of the Mind Flayer. Will's tripping out and he's on top of him because he's trying to hurt him. I don't know. I mean, we do see Derek above everyone else in the teaser trailer, so I have no clue when this takes place in the order of events, but it seems like this would be after it hits the fan when the Demogorgon arrives, right? And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say a big welcome to the new duo in Hawkins, Indiana, Will Byers and Robin Buckley, because we've gotten various shots of them together now. It seems like they're going to be one of the big new duos of the season. I'm not opposed, but the money shot of this entire video involves a classic Stranger Things creature. You already know where I'm going with this. At the very end of this video, we see a Demogorgon popping out of a gate, and they're actually upside down, almost as if they're coming from a gate that's on a roof or above other characters. So I wonder where this gate is and where this Demogorgon's arriving. Because if you look at the teaser trailer, you see a Demogorgon jump out of the ground at the military base, so I don't think that's where this is. My theory right now is that this Demogorgon is actually breaking through the top of the tunnel that Steve, Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan are driving through. If you look at the material of the tunnel next to Steve's car, it kind of visually matches up with the material of the gate that we see this Demogorgon's head pop through. So this is just setting up another badass Demogorgon moment to me, and it'd be even cooler if Nancy stuck her head out the window and blew the Demogorgon away with a shotgun. But that does it for this Stranger Things Season 5 One Last Adventure video breakdown. That was a mouthful to say. I mean, all in all, this is a really good sign that marketing is ramping up for Season 5. I know it's not the official trailer yet, and that's what we're all really hankering for, but we technically got behind-the-scenes shots of Season 5 footage we hadn't seen, as well as some polished shots that are going to be in the final cuts of these episodes. It's been reported that Funko Pops are coming soon, as well as merch drops, so I imagine within the next week or so, the official trailer has to drop. Typically, trailers drop with Funkos, and Funkos are coming out, I believe, mid-next week. They're saying October 1st, potentially, so if that's the case, I anticipate that we'll get the official trailer on October 1st or within a couple days of that date. So it's safe to say now is the time. We are in the Season 5 era, but that does it for this Stranger Things Season 5 One Last Adventure video breakdown. Let me know in the comments down below your predictions, your theories based on the new shots, the new footage. Of course, hit that like button, helps out tremendously. And if you guys want extra content, Patreon is the place to be. Of course, if you want Stranger Things merch, I highly recommend Firefly Shop. This is a real comfy crew neck. Hawkins Police Department. I have one that says Upside Down, another Hawkins one, tons of t-shirts for your favorite characters, your favorite quotes, your favorite moments. Go check out Firefly Shop. Use code FILMSTOCK10. Get yourself a discount and, stock up on your Stranger Things merch as we approach Season 5. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.